Hello, everyone. Kim McIntyre here. I'm a Y. And today we're going to talk a little bit about core. Waiting to go pick up my wife, so I figured, hey, why not put a little bit of information out there? And this also gives me a little bit of time to tweak how I'm doing this. And apparently, the big circles around my eyes is showing me that I definitely need one of those lights, one of those little ring lights right in front of me. So that I am not so shadowed from my bright lights up in the sky. Very nice. All right, so yeah, feel free to drop in a question or anything if you have a question about core, when it works, how it works. Hopefully I'll be addressing all that kind of stuff. So why don't we get a little screen share going up here so you can see what the heck I am actually talking about here. Technology stuff is pretty awesome. You know, I can control my computer right from my iPad. Boom, there we go. All right, we are talking core, and this is from Tom Myers' Anatomy Trains. I know this goes against everything we've ever been taught, you know, core being, whenever I ask anybody where core is, you know, they point to their belly, but it's just a broad generalization. Of course, yes, this here is your core, or part of it. Sorry, let's get this back here. Wham. That center line is definitely your core, or around. But if you think about it, a lot of times we look at, here we go. Let's see, rectus abdominis, the six-pack muscle over here on the left-hand side of your screen. But if you think about the word core talks about the insides of the body. And so if you're thinking rectus abdominis and doing sit-ups to make those guys bigger or toner or whatever, make you look better in a swimsuit, you're missing the boat because those are most superficial muscle. So when we're talking core, we are going back to all this blue stuff here. This is all the stuff that we want working for us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 and a quarter days a year without question. And when this stuff is working for you, let's see, when all this stuff is working for you effortlessly, you will be supported in every aspect of your life, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. The problem is this stuff is controlled by unconscious, subconscious stuff. So if our subconscious or our unconscious is over inundated with stressors and worries and old injuries, so there's confusion within the brain itself, that core is going to be confused as to how to support you in what you're doing, whatever that is, right? So if we're thinking squats, right, very important for our core to support us, especially if we've got 300 pounds on our back. If we're not being supported, our spine's going to collapse in on itself. Our knees might start collapsing. Our neck might start collapsing. We might start clenching our jaw to get the weight going, to try to engage that core, try to find that support. We might be starting to hold our breath. We might pinch our pelvic floor together to try to get some semblance of support, which in turn causes the core to go away even farther. Turns it on for a second, but after you're done, boom, it's gone. And if you're a woman weightlifter, you know, guys are lucky. We've got more stuff holding our pee in. If you're a woman weightlifter and you've seen these CrossFit tournaments, you might see some of these women losing their bladder control because they lost their core support deep inside of their pelvis. So it makes you wonder, all those muscles there, especially the sphincter muscle around the urethra, makes you wonder if they don't have support there, what's going on in the rest of your body? How's their body feel after this massive competition? So that's what I preach about over and over and over again. Let's get your core lined up. Let's get your core engaged so that you can be supported in whatever you do. Doesn't matter if you're lifting weights, doesn't matter if you're, even picking your nose. We want support. And all of those things that we do, reading a book, sleeping, going to the bathroom, we want to be supported. So very important. So if you do work out, no matter what it is, do movement and then check in. Notice if you actually feel supported through your body when you do that. And you might be surprised. Somebody's going to watch this later on and notice, I don't even know what support means. And the definition of support, here we go. We'll go down here. Bear all or part of the weight. That's the definition of support. So if you don't feel as though you, as your core, all that blue stuff there, is bearing the weight of you, not only of you, but whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to have aches, you're going to have pains, you're going to have dis-ease within your body. And if those, come on back to here, there we go. Here's a good picture of deep inside the abdomen. This here is your diaphragm. This here is psoas minor and major. So you can imagine if psoas minor and major are overly tight because they're overly compensating, if they're loose because they're not neurally connected to the brain, or if one side's pulling harder than the other, you can imagine the damage here that's going to happen in the lower lumbar spine. L5, S1, L4, major complaints nowadays. Oh, I'll just go get it fused and I'll be fine. Well, yeah, sure, it's taking care of the bulge here. But is that taking care of the pain? Is that taking care of the dysfunction that caused the bulge in the first place? Bulges don't happen because you get old. Bulges happen because we are moving in an imbalanced pattern, an imbalanced manner. Moving in an imbalanced manner can simply mean walking imbalanced. I know, back in the day, I used to work out all the time. And I thought I was so healthy, but I couldn't walk a quarter mile down the road without my hips and my lower back just being destroyed. I mean, I'd be out there stretching my piriformis. Oh, this has got to do it. This has got to do it. I would be in my shop, foam rolling, and the pain would go away. I'd call my wife, oh, I finally figured out the back pain, and I'd have an awesome workout. And the next day, the pain would be back, if not even worse, because of the workout I was doing. And once I got into the possibilities and sort of accepting the possibilities that, maybe there's more going on than the physical. Maybe there are such things as chakras, and those chakras connected to all the organs in my body, not only the organs, but the muscles of my body and emotions. Imbalanced emotions are causing those chakras to be out of alignment, which in turn is causing the muscles in the bones and the organs to be out of alignment. Maybe these meridian things, what if I could connect to these meridians and balance my own meridians on the energetic level and solve the issue with my gallbladder by releasing the anger that I've held my entire life, which might not always be my anger because of my natural born abilities to feel everything around me. Maybe I've absorbed all kinds of other angers around me, which is not only facilitating my own anger, but causing my, what do we call it again? My core to be utterly confused as to how to support me in any way, shape, or form. All things to think about when you're aligning your physical body. Aligning the physical body. This was a huge day for me. Learning about the cranial bones. Well, of course, I'd learned about the cranial bones in massage school and I was very grateful about that. But getting cranial sacral for me was, to say the least, it was hazardous to my health because I was never grounded when I was done. I felt like I was floating through space for 4 days, not connected to my body, not connected to the earth. If you've ever skied, the feeling of being ungrounded is not being able to feel the snow through your snow boots or snowboard boots, for that matter. Not feeling the ground through your shoes, or your feet feel like they're moving inside of your shoe, no matter how tight you tighten them. It's that sensation that there's no connection. That's one feeling of being ungrounded. Feel free to drop a question if you're out there about core. I'm just going to talk until I see different. So yeah, I felt things move, but I was so ingrained in my patterns with concussions and emotions and everything would just go right back to where it was. And I ended up taking a class called Voila. But if I had taken this class years before I did so much of the emotional work and all that other stuff that I had done, I don't think I would have got what I got out of it, because I wouldn't have been ready. I wouldn't have been able to move that energy like I do now, or being able to trust the fact that I do move that energy or can move that energy. So once I got those cranial bones moving and balanced, and it took a long time. I had a little office behind my house, and I would go into my office every single night, 5, 6, 7 days a week, and be in there for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, just listening to the same inspirational video over and over again as I worked on my emotions and my chakras and my meridians and bones and muscles, and then balanced all of my cranial bones around the transition that I did. Man, I would do hundreds and hundreds of corrections each session. And it would be very frustrating at first because, man, I'm having to do this correction over and over and over and over again. Well, when I stop to think about it, well, how many times have I been pissed off? How many times have I racked my head on snow, on the ice, on the dirt, and okay, well, that's okay. I'm doing it and I am feeling better. And when you can acknowledge that you're feeling better and you see even the slightest change, when you pat yourself on the back and say, you know what, I'm getting better and I'm holding it. Nowadays, the corrections come out very seldomly for the cranial bones, which is very nice, unless I try to learn how to do a front flip on a trampoline with my daughter. Then brings up deeper corrections, but not nearly the amount of corrections that I had to do when I first started doing this work, which I'm very happy about. So that brings us back, all wrapped around to our buddy, the core. And so if you don't feel supported, it could be a chakra thing, it could be a physical thing. By all means, it can be physical. it can be a superficial muscle overcompensating for that entire core line. Cranial bones, definitely a misaligned bone, just one, or it can be a whole lot. Depends on what you're looking for. When you say that you slept wrong, it's not that you slept wrong. It's that your core wasn't able to support you for some reason. Ask yourself what happened the day before. Ask yourself what you dreamt about that night. And I'll bet you find something that stresses you out. And in my world, stress is just a blanket term for all of these negative emotions. There you go. There's your blanket of stress. This is from a class I taught back in the day. These were all the emotions that came up for people. The biggest one was feeling anxious. And a lot of times we just cover up that feeling with that word stress. So the more precise you can be about how you're feeling, the better you'll be if you decide to use tapping or any other tools that I give you. The deeper you'll be able to go, the more work you get done, the faster you will heal, the faster you'll find alignment. So I hope that helps you understand a little bit more about my definition of core and how it's affected. Thanks for listening along today. Check and see if there was anybody there. I don't think so. So you have yourself a wonderful day, and we will see you in the future. Bye-bye.